Hey chosen ones, how we doing this evening? Appreciate you tuning in. This video, I'm a little revved up for it. I'm ready. Man, people are so effed up. And if you are a chosen one, you're gonna experience this weirdness where they will do just about anything. And this is the other person who just like you're dealing with and you're getting those vibes from, right? Whoever it be, they just can't stand that you are the image of God in your own version. Right? You're absolutely this ideal example of God's child. And you're probably popping off, you probably look good, you probably like got game, I don't know, like you talk well, like articulate, you mean what you say what you mean, you do what you're gonna say you're gonna do. You're probably pretty good with your money, like you're probably giving off the impression that you got it together. And this is why they will really act so weird. And you know, we could get like all irritated about it. There's a lot of ways that we could react. What it comes down to though is realizing if somebody is lashing out, acting different, acting odd, shady or suspicious, you know, it's so important to think to ourselves, wow, I wonder is this person okay? Because if they were okay, they would probably be saying some nurturing, nice things. They'd probably be exchanging some type of love, platonic love, some language of encouragement. People that are constantly encouraging others, that's real strength. People that are constantly looking for others' flaws, they're the most terrified people on this earth. And so when they see you coming along and you popping off, you doing real well, they can see that. And so they're going to try and like, you know, it's all in like these weird comments and vibes. Mind games. I'm not here to really go on and on and on about narcissism. I feel like it's somebody else is definitely already talking about it. So go ahead and look up narcissism on YouTube and like literally you'll find results for probably 365 days out of the year. So I'm just like so over it, like the whole narcissism topic, that I'm just not even like gonna go into it because I just don't know enough about it to talk about it at length. But I know for sure that it involves like those mind games and sowing self-doubt in the victim's mind. Let me see if I can think of some examples. I'm thinking whether it be something with your physicality, something with your career. They might not realize that they have those demons that are acting that way. They might actually really care about you, but then they're not aware of the demons that are like coming out. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. And they're just like not aware of the demons that are literally just they're in disguise, so the person has a little bit of control over it, but it's in those questions, it's in those comments where they are sowing self-doubt in your mind. Oh my god, it's so hot. And it's something that we're just gonna have to get a little bit used to, unfortunately. I'm not saying you can't stand up for yourself, but it's best to just you can identify with it and then disengage. So, for example, it's hard for me to talk about, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and give it a shot. Tonight, got a couple of drinks with someone who I had never met before, but we like really hit it off. And I took a chance, right? I didn't like do anything. We just like got literally one drink, but it was his suggestion that we do art together because I was like just on my way to go get art supplies, and I kept saying like, oh man, that's so cool. No one ever says that. Like, yeah, that's awesome. Let's do it. So then I like am a person that like, I guess takes things literally or something. So I literally pulled out art supplies, at the bar and stuff. And then like, I'm also just a person that like will do what I say I'm going to do for the most part. Of course, I'm not perfect. I do try very hard to follow through on that because accountability with myself, it means a lot. But it was his suggestion, so I was stoked, and then I started to like do some art or whatever, and then he was sitting across from me, and I complimented his art, and he said, "Don't be so nice. Don't be overly nice. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just be yourself." And I immediately got quiet. And the energy completely shifted because it was as if my comment was rejected, as if it was like a ball that was bounced back into my court, and now I had to deal with his insecurities, and he was projecting and lashing out. And I got really quiet, and then he said, but then he started to love bomb me after that and said, "Oh my gosh, though, you're a beast, though." And then, because I just got quiet and then like focused on my art, because it frankly hurt my feelings that he was implying that I wasn't being myself. And he's like, "Oh, stop being so nice," as if like the real me is like some arsehole or something like that. I was like, oh, excuse me, like like I was thinking that in my head or whatever. And then I was like, oh, all right, that's your problem. Like in my head, I was like, all right, this is disappointing, because I was really trying to tell you that I liked your art, but this is your problem. This is your problem. So I got kind of quiet and just focused on my art. And then he started love bombing after that. And he's like, "Oh man, though, like you're a beast," and started complimenting my art. And then I was just like still pretty quiet. And I mean, we were like on a roll before that too, so it was pretty obvious that there's a shift. And then he goes, "So do you think that these, so this art is like, yeah, he's so weird. This is why maybe like shouldn't just like meet up with people and like try and, I don't know, like maybe sometimes it works. You can meet people and then like, sometimes it does work, but this time I guess not. I originally bought a gecko from him. I have a new pet gecko. He's hanging out with me. So this is a guy that I bought this gecko from. You want to be on camera? This is Bartholomew. I fed him some tomatoes tonight until I can get him crickets tomorrow. I'm going to get him a terrarium and stuff this weekend. Set him up with some sand and hot lamps. Isn't he cute? So, he's a little camera shy. Here you go. So he was standing outside of Staples, and I was on my way to go get art supplies, and I saw people like nodding their head, like shaking their heads, and then he was like kind of holding it. He's like, I'm selling him, and so I bought him from him, and then we just like really vibed or something, and then I was like, oh, there's trivia like at this like my favorite bar like 2 blocks away, and like I'm gonna go get some art supplies. Like, and then we just like started like hanging out. Sometimes that works and happens, but like maybe I'm not like 19 anymore and this isn't high school. Like, this is the real world in New York City. And I'm a pretty high frequency person, so I'm gonna stick out like a sore thumb, and people are more than likely going to dislike me and or overly like me. And attach their energy to mine. So then he said after he, so then like we're at the bar now, like fast forward, and then pull out the art supplies, he starts to do it, I'm doing my art, and I look at what he's doing, and I compliment it. I say, I really like your art. And he goes, oh, no, stop it, don't, there's no need to be overly nice, don't be overly nice, so just be yourself. And I was like, you have a hard time taking compliments, it seems. And he's like, I mean, I kind of like said that later or whatever, but like I like in my head I was like, wow, this is really disappointing. Like we were really vibing, and then all of a sudden like it just cut off the connection for sure. Big like cut off the connection. And I didn't say anything after he love bombed me and was like, oh, but you're a beast, and like was watching me do my art, and then I started like hyper focusing on my art because of like the anxiety of like what was happening. And then he was like, so do you think that these colors and like this art speaks for the energy right now? And then I was like, oh yeah, definitely. And he's like, oh, so you're trying to figure me out, huh? And then when I asked about that, like later on, he's like, oh no, I was joking. I was like, it didn't sound like a joke. Like, he was being so weird. And I was like, and then I just told him, I don't understand. After he said, oh, you're trying to figure me out, huh? And I said, I don't understand. I don't understand. And then he was like, he was just so weird, dude. Like, now that I realize it, like, these people that you meet, or even people that you know, are going to be triggered by your talents. And they just want to find something wrong about you. Because you're vibrating at such a high frequency. For those that are chosen, you're just awesome at life. You're probably looking good. You're probably talking well. You're probably walking well. You're probably spending, like you earned it or something. Like, you're probably like, doing pretty well. Financially free. Do what you want. You have your own swagger. You have your own way that you talk. You have your own way about you. And they just like are determined to, these people that meet you, that give you that weird vibe, they're just like going to try, they'll pretend to be your friend, but really they actually really dislike you, and maybe even stronger feelings than that, like hate you. But they will take advantage of the time. This bums me out that like we're even talking about this, but it's just true, and the truth is coming to me, and God's been revealing to me what's real and what's not. And so I've had to do a couple of cutting people off and stuff, just like realizing that they kept saying stuff that made me feel bad, that were unnecessary. And if you try and confront them, they'll get defensive about it, basically. And it'll be a lot of stuff that they use against you. Like if you tell them personal, private information, they'll twist it in a way that's like how, like, making you feel bad. They don't even realize that those demons are at work. And you just gotta steer clear and cut them off. But a couple of signs is like they focus on any of the negative in your life and like bring that up. They gaslight you with like being like asking you the same question kind of like over and over until you realize like, you're like, wait, I I've already like, answered this, but they're like trying to get you to think like, oh wait, do I? They're trying to make you second guess yourself. They really resent that you're that strong-willed, you're headstrong, and committed to the best version of yourself. And meanwhile, they chose different paths. They made mistakes, and they're paying for the pain that they have inflicted on themselves and on others in life, in their life, that they can't take back. And so they see you shining, they see you smiling, they see you radiating, they see you glowing, and they'll do their absolute best to say little things to get in your head about. They'll find your weak points. They're honestly pretty smart about it, because they'll play the part that they're your friend, and it's pretty much a bummer. I'm not saying like chosen ones can't ever have friends, but there's a reason I got a gecko tonight. Let's just say. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna talk to this gecko, and this gecko's gonna be a great companion. So, you know, you just can't go to any place. You can't just talk to anybody. Once you've spiritually awakened, it's just going to be too obvious that you're levels ahead. And they will either applaud you for your efforts in different ways, and if you're lucky. And, really just come at you with everything that they can. They'll exploit your weak points. So don't open up to them. Don't share nothing with them. Don't share nothing with them. They will use any information against you later on. You know, it's this video a little bit bums me out, but it's the world we live in, I guess, nowadays, where the love has grown cold and the wax has melted over. Keep in mind, all of these experiences can help make us stronger. And, you know, I know that sounds cliche, but not just stronger, but stronger in God. You'll be more able to identify demons and whatnot, the more that you pray to God and ask for that discernment, and therefore you'll be more protected. I got this verse right here. It's Luke 6:27 through 28. But to you who are listening, I say, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who mistreat you. Why is it so hot? It's annoying. Luke. Trying to find Luke. Luke. Oh, there it is. Okay. We're just going to go a little bit more into the word. Here we go. 6:27. Reading the Bible feels so good. Love it. Love it. Okay. Rejoice in that day. Oh, here we go. Perfect. I love this. Happy you are whenever men hate you. Whenever men exclude you and reproach you and cast out your name as wicked for the sake of Son of Man. Rejoice in that day and leap, for look, your reward is great. Oh, I love this verse. Is great in... Okay, you know what? It's too freaking hot to do anything. They are like young children sitting in a marketplace and crying out to one another. And wait, is this the same page? Your reward is great in Wow, this is a little bit of a struggle bus moment. The pages are just like, really just... Alright, I'm officially 1,000 years old. Heaven, for those are the same things their forefathers used to do to the prophets. But woe to you, rich persons, because you are having your consolation in full. Woe to you who are filled up now, because you will go hungry. Woe who are laughing now, because you will mourn and weep. Woe whenever all men speak well of you, for things like these are what their forefathers did to the false prophets. But I say to you who are listening, continue to love your enemies, to do good to those hating you, to bless those cursing you, to pray for those who are insulting you. To him that strikes you on the one cheek, offer the other also. This stuff is much easier said than done. Much easier said than done. But I say to you who are listening, continue to love your enemies, to do good to those hating you, to bless those cursing you, to pray for those who are insulting you. To him that strikes you on the one cheek, offer the other also. And from him that takes away your outer garment, do not withhold even the undergarment. Give to everyone asking you, and from the one taking your things away, do not ask them back. Yep. Also, just as you want men to do to you, do the same way to them. Wow, that one's really speaking to me. Because this one's also easier said than done. And so powerful, though. Thank you, Jesus. Oh. And if you love those loving you, of what credit is it to you? For even the sinners love those loving them. And if you do good to those doing good to you, really, of what credit is it to you? Even the sinners do the same. Also, if you lend without interest to those from whom you hope to receive, of what credit is it to you? Even sinners lend to sinners that they get back as much. That they may get back as much. Let me read that again. Even sinners lend to sinners that they may get back as much. To the contrary, does that mean like nothing's really ever free kind of a thing? Like they're not just doing it to be nice, like they're doing it to get advantage over you or something? Even sinners lend without interest to sinners that they may get back as much. Yeah. To the contrary, continue to love your enemies and to do good and to lend without interest, not hoping for anything back. And your reward will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High, because he is kind toward the unfaithful and wicked. Continue being merciful, just as your Father is merciful. Moreover, stop judging, and you will by no means be judged. Yeah, actually, true point is that whenever one judges, their vibration decreases. Whenever somebody passes judgment, their vibration decreases. And that's why you can feel it when somebody's judging you, because they're projecting their lower vibrations onto you. Even if you're popping off and doing great, and you look hot, or you look terrible, or something like that. Whatever it is, if they're making that judgment, that's why you can feel being judged. It's because their vibration is decreasing as soon as someone passes judgment. It's like an energy phenomenon that will just happen no matter what. It's when somebody like makes a judgment about you, their vibration is going to lower. So it's their problem, really is. But that's why you can feel it. When you're standing there and they're looking at you, and you're like, this feels, yeah, they don't like me. There's something, they're giving me this energy. It's because they're broadcasting that negativity onto you. Even if they try and be subtle about it, that's why you can still feel it. So be on guard. So watching yourself too. If you are noticing that you're judging somebody, remind yourself that it's only lowering your vibration. And likely, if you're seeing them and they're just like walking past you, like what's the point of even thinking that deep about somebody who you're never going to see again? If somebody's going to walk past you, you might as well say in your head, oh, God bless them. Do your best to avoid judgment. I know it's hard, like we all kind of like tend to make quick judgments, especially based off of clothing and like hygiene and body language and stuff like that, but really never judge a book by its cover, and it's a way to protect your energy from dipping. To the contrary, continue to love your enemies and to do good and to lend without interest. Moreover, here we go. To lend and not hoping for anything back, and your reward will be great, and you, Son's Most High, because he is kind toward the unfaithful and wicked. Continue becoming merciful, just as your Father is merciful. Moreover, stop judging, and you will by no means be judged, and stop condemning, and you will by no means be condemned. Keep on releasing, and you will be released. Practice giving, and people will give to you. Yep. They will pour into your laps of fine measure, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. For with the measure that you are measuring out, they will measure out to you in return. Yep. People generally make you feel how they feel. I don't know why it's so freaking hot. I'm like so annoyed right now. It's so freaking hot. So yeah, just be aware of like who you're talking to. You can't just, if you're, chosen ones, listen, you really got to protect that energy. You can't just go into any bar. You can't just go and talk to anybody. They will know that you're a once-in-a-lifetime kind of a person. And they'll either be triggered by you and criticize you and lower your vibration and steal your good energy. But what we can learn from that and do from here on out is reflect God's love, which would be to pray for our enemies, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who mistreat you. And then I like how it starts. Luke 6:27 starts out with but to you who are listening. I think that's really beautiful. But to you who are listening, I say, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. Yeah, that's super solid. So they're going to try really hard to find something wrong with you, but just realize it's because they're hurting, and practice compassion, empathy, and extending your understanding in their shoes of where they're at. You were brave enough to make the choices that you did, and now you're reaping all the hard work and labor, everything that you sowed. And nothing can ever be broken or stopped as long as you got God's love in your heart. And it's so powerful to reflect the behavior that Jesus always, illustrated, which was like just love language in complete 100% output. Like he was perfect. He was the perfect delivery of love. He was the perfect communicator of love. And he died for us to wash away our sins. So the least we can do is glorify him through these moments where we're being, hated on or judged, is we can think of him and know that he told us to not be feared and to never let our hearts be troubled, because he has overcome the world, and tells us to not fear the world. And moreover, the least we could do is just bless those who treat us poorly and lean into him when we're experiencing that. And God says too that those who are feeling inadequate, that actually sometimes that's a good thing, because then that means we lean into him and his word more. I know for sure that's a true opposite statement for me. Thanks for listening, guys. Your girl exhausted. It's 1:28 a.m. and I gotta leave my apartment at 6:30 a.m. to work. But yeah, work's going really well. Update you more on that later. And couldn't be more grateful for all y'all. I really appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the new subscribers. This is I like how I introduce myself at the end of the video. My name is Kimberly Ponce. If you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you've been watching for a minute, then you're awesome. Thank you for your committed viewership. And you know what comes next. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay chosen. Peace.